Right, I'm going to test if the chat's there. No chat's there. Yeah. It begins. All right, there's the chat.
It looks like it's. I'm checking on YouTube right now. I see you streaming and people in the chat.
Okay, and there you go. It's all there now.
Okay.
Right. In this Akamofo. Right, I think that's our starting.
Okay.
Here we go.
Are we live?
Yep.
Oh, right on.
This is LooksLive. We are live. Hi. This is Facing LMS. We have two special guests this week. First of all, I think everyone knows the fiasco that was last week's stream. The too many guests, the drinking. This can't be worse than that one. Okay. Things are in place to make sure it isn't. I won't be paying too much attention to the chat. I have a mod that I want to look at the chat, and he'll bring me pertinent questions at suitable times. So first of all, the first guest, Angel, can you tell us a bit about yourself and who you are?
Well, I'm Angel. And I typically on YouTube talk about self-development, spirituality, and just how to become a better person. But what started me on this journey was pickup artistry. And the first red pill I kind of took was the red pill realizing feminism is bad, because I grew up in like liberal California I actually used to be a social justice warrior and feminist, and I got really into PUA. And I just want to help men, empower men, because I feel like there's something going on, and I feel like we all have common ground on that. But my favorite things are, I love PUA. I think it's a really helpful skill set for men, and I do not think that looks matter nearly as much as game. And that's kind of where my stance is going to be on this issue.
Okay. The next guest, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name's Seb, or from YouTube, my username is Master Yoda.
Hold up, Seb, wait for the round of applause. People are going to say, yes, it's Seb, Master Yoda.
Okay.
Look there, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
thank you for the warm welcome.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm 49-year-old male. I'm Australian. I'm what you call incel or involuntary celibate or a TFLer. I always wanted to find a partner or a wife, and but unfortunately, my below average looks, or for the want of a better word, ugly looks, wrote me off in the dating game. But I gave up about 5 years ago. I'm very against PUA. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for men wanting to improve themselves and for wanting to be the best versions of themselves they can possibly be. But I think PUA is just toxic. It really is. I firmly believe that looks do matter. I think they're actually critical to attraction, because when it comes to male-female sexual relationships, women are the choosers, and they pre-select the men that they want based on his looks, race, and I will mention race because it is a very important thing, or his ability to provide resources. And if you don't pass the looks test with a woman, it's game over.
Okay.
Yep. So that's my stance. Thank you.
Right. I'm going to share screen and sounds of you. I don't know if you'll hear an echo or not, but let's hope that's okay.
That.
Right. First question to Angel. What is pickup art? What can it do for a man? What can't it do? What's its upper limit? Like what should a realistic person not expect it to be able to do?
They shouldn't expect it to be a magic pill that like you instantly just become a pussy slayer by doing POA. POA is not easy. It's a lot of hard work and takes dedication. And I think that's a misconception people have about pickup artistry is that you have to put in the work. It's kind of like learning how to play guitar. Learning how to play guitar is not easy, but that doesn't mean that, it's not possible for you to play guitar and perform beautiful music. It's just going to take practice and dedication. And the thing is, I think a lot of people don't understand about POA is just the time. And the way the POA advertises a lot of the marketing is there is some sort of shady marketing for certain POA companies because there's not just one POA company. There's like a whole scene. And Mystery with the game kind of started it. And there was a TV show that kind of glamorized it. But I think the biggest misconception about POA is that it's easy. It's not. But what it can do for a man is it can increase confidence. It can get your mindsets in a more positive, uplifting mindset. And it really just teaches you that you are enough. And if you try it and you do the work, you will see results.
So what kind of results? What kind of results?
Okay, so like for me, the first girl I hooked up with was when I was 21, which was kind of old for the time, and it was really just an accident, and she wasn't really even that attractive. And I realized like, fuck, I'm fucked. And when I started getting the POA, I started getting the ability after lots of work to like just talk to any girl I want, regardless of how attractive she is, pull multiple girls, have threesomes with women, and just absolute crazy sexcapades that I never even thought was possible. That kind of just blew my mind. That because I was like, how this shouldn't be allowed, but it happened. And because it's almost like it really changes your perspective on the world in a way. And I feel like you may not be able to get some of the highest quality women, but you definitely will get someone you think is cute. And you could take it as far as you want to take it. Kind of like, well, what do you want to do when you play guitar? Do you want to be a master guitar player and like tour the world, or you just want to impress your friends?
Hey guys, I'm just going to interject. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Who's joining? Because I didn't say that we want. Who is it? Are you a mod?
Yes. This is the champ. I told you I had something going on, so I'm getting on a little late.
Okay, no problem. We have another mod looking after things. Right, I'll just carry on. I would say that pickup art. I wouldn't rule pickup art out entirely. Like, I think that it's a good guide for men on how to interact with women. I don't think it's an indicator. It gives you a guide of how to interact with women. It's not an indicator of how many women you will attract. It's not an indicator of the quality of women you will attract. If you watch I advise every man to watch the pickup artist show, the VH1 show with Mystery. By the way, that's Mystery that you can see second from left, and Matador. He's a sidekick, whatever you want to call it. By the way, these two guys were actually telling guys that game attracts women. These two guys are probably some of the best looking guys you'll see in a club. They look a little bit older now than the typical guy you would see in a club these days. But back when they were doing this stuff, they were probably like two of the best looking guys you would see in a club. So them saying that game works, it's kind of like, yeah, right. Try doing this when you're below average looking.
So I want to say one. So I kind of want to go back.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to go back to the other guy's point real quick because he pretty much talks about like, hey, do you want the top of the top, or are you okay with just getting a girl? So when we're talking about looks in terms of getting girls, is mediocrity okay? Or is it just, hey, you know, you're not good looking enough to get the top girls that you really want? Like, where does that lie to you guys?
I'll let Angel. Do you wanna? I could just about hear that. Go ahead, Angel.
So I feel like it really depends. It's a case by case basis, depending on how much ambition the man has. And that also really has to do with self confidence and like self-esteem and what you think you deserve and can get. I used to not think that I could get anyone because I was just a pathetic loser like person. But what PUA did for me is I would slowly attract and hook up with hotter and hotter girls. The first girl I hooked up with wasn't very attractive. Like, she was kind of gross, but at the time, like, when you're a virgin, you don't give a fuck about that. And then the next girl was like slightly hotter. She actually like took care of herself and cleaned herself. And then the next girl gets even hotter. And now like I'm seeing like really like hot like blondes that have like that could be Instagram models. But it took a while to get to that point. I'm 33 right now, and I first started when I was like 20. So like you have to put in work. And I think a lot of people don't like to hear that you have to put in so much work, because people are like, fuck it, I could just be MGTOW and go my own way or whatever. But for me, I love women personally, and I'm not satisfied until I am with the wife of my dreams. And because I don't have like the best genetics, but I do have access to pickup artistry skills because I study it. I am confident that I will be able to date and not marry, because I'm not a fan of marriage, but date and hook up with the woman of my dreams.
The pickup art ideology, I'm fully behind the basic or the fundamentals, which is like non-neediness. I think that was a huge one for me. I was the kind of guy who would have sent a second text to a girl if I didn't get a reply first time round. So aspects of like that are definitely helpful. But the thing about PUA is you're not comparing like with like, because most guys who get into pickup art didn't do much approaching before they got into pickup art. So you're comparing when you didn't approach women to when you're doing like 10 approaches per night at a club. So you're not comparing like with like. So when you get into pickup art, you become more methodical about your approaches. You measure them more. You start to all right, when someone's really loud, like, I'm gonna have to mute you in a sec because I can't hear. There's too much traffic going on. When you get into, because I lost my train of thought. When you get into pickup art,
women that are interested in you. Is that what you were gonna say? You start to pay more attention to the girls that you can get.
No. I was gonna say that when you get into pickup art, because you're now looking at approaching in a more methodical way and it's more measured, you'll start paying attention more to. So say you're able to get phone numbers, but not get further than that. Or say that you do that once or twice, you get a woman's phone number. Then the next few approaches where you get rejected straight away, you won't see that as your baseline, as what you can achieve, and those phone numbers that you got as flukes. You'll see the rejections as flukes, and you'll think that the phone numbers that you could get is your upper limit to your game. So you start looking at the positives, or overemphasizing the positives, because when you get into PUA, there's this kind of the amount of investment you put into it. You don't look at where you fail, or you see your failures as, oh, maybe I did something wrong that time. It was all my fault, and you focus on the achievement. So you can't compare how you were before you got into pickup art, because say for most guys, before they get into pickup art, their approaches are more like drunken approaches in a club, or situational approaches where you're in a cloakroom of a club and maybe a girl says, oh, where's my coat? And you're like, oh, it's not behind me, I don't know where it is, and then you get talking that way. So you're not really viewing that as an approach before, and things like that. Those kind of approaches before you get into pickup art, it's like you're not really measuring them. There's no methodical approach to those approaches, if you get what I'm saying. But then when you get into pickup art, you start thinking, oh, I did 10 approaches. I spoke to 10 girls. That means I'm really close to a girl being in my life. You're approaching more. So you think that more girls are in your life, but that's just a fallacy. It's like it's a misconception. I was going to say something else. I'm gonna have to mute that person if it gets too loud. All right. I when I was into pickup art, I approached a lot of women and stuff like that. And this is gonna sound really aspy, but one time I bought a spy camera. I attached it to me and I did some approaches. Approached some women and watched the footage back, and I was like, okay, I did that wrong. It was my fault. I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's where I lost her. That kind of thing. When I became red-pilled about looks and I saw that footage back, I could tell from the moment I approached the woman that the attraction was just not there at all. I could see it in her face. The attraction was just not there. You've got the wool pulled over your eyes when you're in the when you're into pickup art. You'll blame yourself. You'll think, I didn't do something right. I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to go back and watch another RSD video. I need to watch this. I need to work on my inner game. I need to, and it keeps going. You keep blaming yourself.
Yeah, I hear you. What I have to say to that is a thing that they teach in pickup artistry, well, specifically the RSD current of pickup artistry, is not all girls are going to like you. That's just a fact.
But
everyone
do they tell
has
you
to
why?
accept.
Do they tell you why? Is it some vague reason, or do they actually say maybe if you're 5'6" and balding and Indian?
The thing is that, like, yes, looks play a factor, but the reason why we typically don't talk about that is because a lot of guys will use that as an excuse to not go out, and because a lot of guys are content with sort of just being in their house doing nothing, because it's the fear of rejection is so strong that, like, it's a lot of guys just would rather not deal with those uncomfortable emotions. And it's not until you push through those extremely uncomfortable emotions of getting rejected hundreds of times that you realize that, like, oh wow, I'm not dead. The girl rejected me and I didn't get killed. So they don't really talk about why that happens, but I will agree with you that looks do have an effect on if a girl is going to be interested in talking to you. But here's the thing. There are not attractive guys that have good game and they can put themselves together well. Like, here's some things you can control. You can control what you're dressing, how you dress. You can control your haircut. You can control your hygiene. You know what I'm saying? So unless, like, you're like a scar, like a burn victim, and you have, like, no face or anything, you're pretty much able to get any girl you like.
Excuse me. Any girl. Like, you wanna at least caveat that with, you know.
I'll caveat that not all girls are gonna like you, but, like, the thing is how many girls are there in the world? There's so many girls in the world, and there's plenty of beautiful women for everyone. Like,
just world fallacy. There's you kind of seem to think that because there are lots of girls in the world that who is that? If I hear that again, I'm gonna have to start to mute people. If you seem to think that because there are lots of girls in the world, they all want different things. There's one girl for the balding 5'6" Indian. There's one girl for the Treacher Collins 5'10" guy. There's one. it's not like that. A lot of these girls want the same thing, the same good-looking kind of man.
Yes, I'll agree with that. But like, there are certain girls like black guys, certain girls like they have certain preferences that skew things.
Yeah.
That like
different preferences. Chads, Tyrones, Abduls, Changs. Like these are like all good-looking guys. They all want like top quality guys. I'm not going to say they want the top, the top, like the 10 out of 10 guys. But
well, just like guys, some
above
guys
average looking
like
guy. Go ahead.
Some guys like girls with big tits. Some guys like girls with more lowly tits. Some guys like thick asses. I mean, but we all generally like want a beautiful woman, but that could look like many different things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the point I was going to make earlier is that PUA, pickup art, gives you a false sense of achievement because the example I was giving before, you will look at the furthest or the highest thing you've achieved as your base level game. So if you approach one girl and you're able to get a lay, for instance, and then the next 10 girls you can't get anywhere, you don't get anywhere with them, you'll still feel that lay is your actual base level of achievement. You'll see the subsequent rejections you got as flukes, or you did something wrong. You won't think, wow, that one girl magically liked my looks, or I fluked out, it was lucky. So you get what I'm saying? It gives you a false sense of achievement.
Guys, here's a question. Should
a
woman's attraction be measured by the women that you approach or by the women that approach you? Meaning that, should you base your attractiveness on the amount of women that come up to you, or say if you're approaching women and getting them, does that count? If you guys get what I'm saying.
That's a really good question. I think that if the women that approach you is a much better indicator of how attractive you are, because usually women don't really approach me. You can look at my videos and see like what I look like. I don't really think I'm particularly attractive, but I don't think I'm ugly. But when I'm with like more attractive men, I notice that there are girls will approach them and ask like, "Who's your friend?" more than they'll approach me. However, if I really like wanted to turn on the heat, and I actually got in a position where I can talk to the girls, I usually can pull more girls. But it's not based on my looks because they are looking for other things. But with game, you can get way crazier results than you can with just your looks. And usually the people that look really, really good, like the Chads and Tyrones, all those guys, they don't even know what PUA is. Or in the PUA community, we call them naturals. But if they were to learn PUA, they would be the pussy slayers of the world.
LMS, your thoughts?
I would say when you're below average looking, you won't get. No woman will approach you, or hardly any women would approach you. So if no women are approaching you, then that doesn't mean you're a zero. It just means that women will only start approaching once a man's looks pass a certain threshold. So I think maybe once you get to about a 5, you'll maybe get some 3s. When you're a 5 out of 10 male, you'll probably get like 3 out of 10 women approaching you. Women in the 3 out of 10 range. But when you're under like a 6, 7, say, you'll get women below your looks level approaching you. That's why I see. It's not, there's no real evidence. This is just all anecdotal. So I wouldn't say you can use that as a yardstick for your own attractiveness. Seb's being broken into.
Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is a burglar sitting there with you?
Sorry?
Don't worry. So like if you're like a 5 out of 10 guy, you'll have like 3 out of 10 women approaching you. So I wouldn't say you should use that as a yardstick to believe like that means you're a 3. It's just that women are what's the word? Hypergamous. Especially women are hypergamous, so they want to date up, and they'll approach a guy who's better looking than them. So don't use what women don't use I would say don't use, at least in the range that I'm talking about, don't use that as an indicator of your own looks level. But having said that, once you get to being like a male 7, 8, 9, and you have the females and women approach you, then that's a more direct looks matched kind of approach phenomenon going on. When you're like a 7, you will get women up to about a 7 around your looks level approaching you, but there's no real, I can't really speak too strongly on that. That's just all anecdotal. So yeah.
Well, I definitely think
it's
women
really
have more
interesting
options.
because
Angel, you go ahead
I
first.
just want to kind of touch on something you said real quick.
Okay.
Because it kind of sounds like you're saying that it's the quality of woman, the quality of the attractiveness of the actual woman that counts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it matters. A beautiful woman has more options than a subpar like woman.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got red pilled. Okay. I said that I was into PUA, and I followed. PUA is really out of touch with guys because Mystery wasn't one of Mystery's advice for guys who have a one-itis. That means a girl that you just can't get out of your mind, that you aren't actually dating yet. His advice was GFTOW, go fuck 10 other women. And my response to that is, if you're having if you get into pickup art, you probably don't have many options anyway. That's why you got into it. And now on top of that, if you have a one-itis, then that's probably because you can't fuck other women. So the advice, go fuck 10 other women, just shows how out of touch pickup art is, or at least was at the time, with
Can I speak to that?
With the men who are in that community. Go ahead. Yeah.
So here's the thing. That is the cure for one-itis, and
but the cure is also
but
the problem.
You pointed out something. If it's not easy to do. Go fuck 10 of the women. That's extremely hard, and I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. Is a lot of people think that like this PUA is a magic pill. It is absolutely not, and I think that's the frustrating thing people need to come to terms with. Is PUA is not an easy lifestyle. There's risk involved, and it takes a lot of work, and like most guys don't even meditate every day, and that's like something that is recommended. So you see what I'm trying to say is like the work that is involved to fuck 10 other women is intense, and that's kind of the point. Is like, well, if you're having one-itis, that's supposed to show you that you are at like level 1, like a hard case newbie. And if you aren't at the point where you can fuck 10 other girls easily, then that means you need to study up. And now some dark.
There you go. It's like there you go. You're not having the results that you expect or want or are promised. It's your fault. You haven't worked hard enough. Why can't we say, well, let's look at your looks. Let's see if you are balding. Maybe we'll start there. Why can't? Does anyone actually say that?
No, because that doesn't help. The thing that what really matters is like, okay, what actually works? What pragmatically gets guys laid? Talking shit on yourself like that doesn't really work. Like if you look a certain ways, you can't really change it besides dressing better, having better hygiene, and having a haircut. So you try not to like focus too much like on how you look, the stuff that you can't change, like your jaw structure or whatever it is that we're talking about. because it doesn't help your results. What helps your results is being confident. The reason why a thing that makes hot guys really attractive to women is they're confident because they've been treated like little kings and princes.
Wow. Who wants to?
So,
is that your Master Yoda?
Can I chip in, please?
Yep.
Just want to debate a few points that Angel raised. He made an analogy which I don't agree with, claiming that picking up women is a skill, and he used learning how to play the guitar. Learning how to play the guitar or any musical instrument for that matter is a skill, because say, for example, with the guitar, if you place your fingers in the right place, if you put your finger and you want to play an A5 power chord, the guitar's not going to turn around and say to you, "Get lost, I'm not going to play that A5 power chord." It's going to make that sound. Because it's a neutral object, right? Whereas a woman, it's a human being. It can work with you or against you.
Thank you.
So, and the only skill, I will say there is one skill with regards to attractive women, and that's the ability to read female body language and interpret it correctly. That I'll say is a skill. And it's not hard to pick up. You don't need to pay some PUA scam artist $3,000 to know something you should know. Right? It's when you're interacting with a woman that you have a romantic interest in, it's pretty easy to tell whether she's interested in you or not, just by the body language. Most of my rejections, and I've been rejected about 200 times in my lifetime. As I said, I gave up more than 5 years ago. And most of my rejections didn't even get to the stage for the woman to verbally say no. I already knew I'd been rejected just by the body language. And so, no, picking up women is not a skill at all. The Chads of this world, they don't need PUA. If you mention PUA to a Chad, they would laugh. In multiple situations I've been, like, I'll give you a classic example. In 1992, I went on the South Pacific cruise with a Chad friend of mine. Now, this Chad friend of mine is Australian, Irish Catholic heritage, 6 foot tall, full head of hair, very good-looking guy, does martial arts, is a bodybuilder. On that cruise, I kid you not, he must have had sex with maybe 15 up to 20 women. Right now, the way we were treated on that cruise was completely different. Whenever I talked to women, I was treated like garbage. Women would turn their backs on me instantly. My friend was treated like a rock star, like royalty, absolute royalty. So, game had nothing. Not that I believe in game. I think game is nonsense. I think PUA is a lot of nonsense. He was pre-selected. That's pure and simple, purely because of his looks. There's no way you'll outgame a Chad. Not in a million years. No way. I've been in other social situations where I was with another a bloke that was much better than looking at me, and he was actually dressed worse than I was. I was in smart business attire. He was in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. A woman just came straight up to him, and he ended up going home with her. So, no, picking up women is not a skill. It never has been, never will be. Once again, women pre-select the men they want based on his looks.
Your response, Angel?
I just don't think that's true, because I'm not a Chad, and I've been with lots of women, and women multiple times in a day, and done things that I don't even think should be allowed. But it happens, and it's definitely a skill set. It's just not an easy skill set. It takes a lot of work, and the thing about scam artist PUA people. There's so much free content online, and there's just hours and hours of free content. And I have only paid. I've never gone to a boot camp before. I've only paid to go to some conferences, and they've been really cheap, under $50. So the thing is that the skill set is true. I feel like I'm proof of it. There's other guys that are proof of it. The thing is that a lot of the attraction does come from looks. I'm not going to argue that looks don't matter, but what I will argue is that looks don't matter as much as you think. The fact that you say face and LMS, looks, money, status, status is we're totally, that is a very important factor of attraction. One thing that I did that made me way more attractive than I ever was is I got into DJing. And I've DJ'd at clubs, and then all of a sudden, now it's I'm out. Yes, I will outgame and outfuck girls than a Chad.
Hold on, Angel. Quick, Angel. I got to say something to that. Now, when we talk about status, things like DJs, models and things like that. Obviously, women are hypergamous, and they will use guys like that for connections, right? Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is that a true indicator of an attractive trait versus looks?
Well, I think that's really hard to prove, really, because a lot of attractive guys don't really use PUA or don't even think about it because they don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, with good-looking guys, a lot of their status is inherent because of their looks. And, of course, they have better opportunities in life, things like that. So it's already built in. Like, they're a built-in PUA without even having to study for it.
Yeah, kind of. In the PUA community, we call them naturals. And the thing I would say is, how people talk about, white privilege and stuff like that? I would say, the real privilege is attractiveness privilege, which I feel like everyone should agree with me on here, considering the company that I'm with.
So sorry, I missed that. I want you to repeat that.
Attractiveness privilege.
Okay,
that
so
if you're attractive, you have privilege over other people.
That's true.
The chat is asking how tall you are, Angel.
I'm about 5'8", maybe 5'9", if I'm wearing my boots.
All right, Hardin, we're full. Please don't call in. Maybe another time. Okay, we're full for the moment. We don't want to overload this chat and get like last week. So stop calling. Here, let me describe my red pill moment. All right, you're done. All right, I lost my chain of thought. I was heavily into PUA, even though I wasn't having the results promised, or even any results whatsoever, really. I was into PUA and I defended it. I discovered a website called, here we go, PUA Hate. This was back in maybe 2000, maybe 2011, something like that, 2012. I stumbled on that website, and these guys were just saying PUA doesn't work. It's all about looks. You got to be good looking. Women want looks. I was like, no. You just need to be confident. You guys haven't tried. You haven't tried. That was my thinking. You haven't tried enough. You haven't put this material to work. But the thing is, what kept me going back to that website was it was just so funny. The hyperbole was at the time I thought it was ridiculous. I never forget, there were two threads. One was called trying to get a girlfriend these days is like trying to beat the house at a casino. Another was balding is a sexual death sentence. And at the time, I found that funny. I thought, okay, this is over the top. But the more I went out, the more it seemed to be true. Then when the penny really dropped for me was I was out with two friends. One wasn't, I wouldn't say he's good looking, but he's masculine, tall, broad shoulders. Like he goes to the gym like every now and again, but it's like his body is the gym. And then there's this other guy who's above average looking. So me and these two guys were outside a pub talking to some woman. I don't know how we got started talking to her, but we were talking to this woman, me and these two guys, my two friends. And I was using my PUA techniques. I was like trying to engage her. I was doing push, pull, and all these kind of techniques, and I was getting nothing back. Every time I talked to her, she would reply to one of my friends, and so I can't remember the exact what called for this, but I was making a joke, and I made a kind of gesture in order to hug her. I wasn't going to hug her. I was not going to hug her, and it was abundantly clear that I was not going to hug her. But I made the gesture, and she recoiled back so far. And then I was doing most of the talking, and my above average looking friend wasn't talking that much. And this is what she said to him. "Oh, you're so brooding and smoldering." I was like, holy shit. He isn't saying anything. And he's attracting her. I'm using all this game shit, and she's rejecting me. and then I yeah, that's when I thought, okay, yeah, me and PUA are finished. We're through.
You know
I
what?
might just say that you didn't try hard enough.
Say that again, Angel.
No.
Angel, go ahead.
No, that's not true, because I have to go in with LMS on this, because I'm not incel. I get women. So I have a live example to kind of corroborate what he's saying. Like, me and my brother, we were out at a Waffle House. I don't know if you guys have them overseas, but we were at a Waffle House. There's this girl. She was about an 8 out of 10, model, everything. So my brother, like, he's just real social, especially when he drinks. He was talking this girl up. They were vibing, everything. I wasn't really saying anything. I was tired, just got off work, and I have a girlfriend. So I wasn't trying to pursue this girl. Mind you, like, every now and then I would add to the conversation, because, you know, it's kind of like ended up being like a group conversation, but I really wasn't saying anything because I knew my brother had interest in her. She was about 19. I'm in my 20s, so I wasn't really on it. But at the end of the night, literally, like, because I just got off work, I take off my shirt, I have my tank top on, and she's sitting in her car with my brother. They're like smoking a joint. So when he gets out, he's like, F it, bro. She wants you. She saw you take off your shirt. She's like, your brother looks so good. Then at the end of the night, she starts flirting with me. I didn't do anything. I had said nothing, didn't go for the number, nothing. And my brother's literally telling me this. Like, he's like, dude, like, she wants you. Like, I'm done. And I didn't say a word to her. So I have to say LMS is 100% right on that.
Let me expand on that, though, because you did do something. You were showing signs of an attractive male. You were not being needy, and when the fact that you have a girlfriend means that you act differently than guys that. What's up?
You're really overestimating women's primitiveness. Like, you're putting them on this pedestal. Can't they be as superficial and shallow as us?
No, yeah, they are. But what I'm saying is there are plenty of guys that are not hot at all, dating and fucking models like all the time, and they're not doing it because they're hot. They're doing it because they're game.
But that's the thing. That's what I have to say. Because my brother, his game, like, just his work, just the way he talks to women, he's good. He's really good at engaging women. And literally, I did nothing. I mean, I said a few one-liners here and there. Literally, I took off my shirt and it was over. Like, and my brother, keep in mind, he's lean, good-looking dude. I mean, he's got a better jawline than me, everything. And still, I mean, so I have to agree with LMS, man, because, I mean, he was working game. He was literally doing everything.
But so are you.
Master Yoda,
you
you
also
wanna
working game. The thing is, you just didn't realize it. And what the way game was discovered was by studying naturals.
Master Yoda, you wanna weigh in?
Sorry, I got to disagree with Angel. Look, another point he made that I disagree with. He said, "Oh, you've got to put in the work. If you've got to jump through hoops and go through multiple rejections to try and attract a woman, you've really lost the battle. You've lost.
You're right.
You've lost the game. I mean, once again, it comes down to pre-selection. Like, as the other gentleman just said there, how you know, the woman saw him and take his shirt off and bang, she wanted him. She preferred him. That was pre-selection. It had nothing to do with game. I mean, another thing, two Angels said, there's plenty of ugly guys dating models. Rubbish. I rarely see that. I rarely see mismatched couples. And when you do see a mismatched couple, answer me this. Why is it when people say you see a really ugly guy with a hot girl, people say, oh, what does she see in him? Well, if looks wasn't an issue, why would they make a comment like that? No, I rarely see.
They make a comment because it's
guys.
such a surprise. Because it's so eye-catching and out of the ordinary. That's why they comment.
Boom.
If it were
That's
something you saw every day, then there would be no need to make a comment on it.
Exactly, that's my whole point. But look, yeah, I sometimes see ugly guys, hot girls, but it's usually money. And look, I think all men should strive to make as much money as they can, but do not use that as a carrot to attract women, because you're going to put a big target on your back for gold diggers.
I agree with that.
I just want to say, it's an anomaly, and we shouldn't base ourselves off of anomalies.
Yeah. Angel, I'll let you finish. You were going to make one point, and then I got another point to make.
I understand where you guys are coming from. My main point is I don't think it's helpful or healthy for men to just fucking give up on women, because I think that's going to lead to depression and really toxic coping mechanisms and probably a miserable life. Because I think, honestly, like straight men like the company of beautiful women, and it's very healing.
Angel, I got to make this point. There's a in the pickup art ideology bag. There is this idea that making yourself scarce can attract a woman. So you push pull kind of thing. The false time constraint, that kind of thing, where you say, hi, I need a quick opinion, and then you leave. That kind of whole kind of making yourself scarce thing. That is based on I think I misspoke in WAR 1.2 or What Attracts Women 1.2 when I said it. PUA is based on bullshit theories. I would say that theory and some others are misapplied. So making something scarce works for when something is actually wanted by the person. If you make a steak scarce in Somalia, in a starving refugee camp, yes, that will work. You make the steak scarce, you cut it in half and put one half on the east border and one on the west. Yeah, that you make it scarce. That's because it's people want it. If you make a piece of shit is not I don't care how scarce you make a piece of shit, no one wants it. Today's men, today's below average men to women are like a piece of shit. We're not making ourselves scarce isn't going to make us any more desired.
Well, I would ask, what are these piece of shit men are doing with their lives? Are they just sitting at home masturbating to internet porn and eating fast food? Or are they actually out there following their dreams and their passion? What are they doing with their lives?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
I just want to pick on. I just want to talk about giving up that Angel raised. Look, I don't encourage any other guy to give up because I have. That's a personal decision each man has to make. But if it's getting to the stage that, irrespective of how well you're presenting yourself to women, if they're just constantly rejecting you, there comes a time where it's like why keep banging your head against the same wall expecting a different result?
That's true. And that can be unhealthy too, because that could lead to an unhealthy self-image because you're putting yourself out there so much that you're setting yourself up to have lower self-esteem because you just keep getting badgered against the
rejection.
wall.
I don't care anyone who says look, everyone takes rejection personally. Anyone who says they don't is a liar, right? I take rejection personally. I'm not proud of it, but that's just me. And look, it doesn't matter for me anymore because I'm lucky I live in Australia where prostitution's legal. So for the last 30 years, I've been using the services of sex workers or prostitutes. And you know what? It's great. Okay, sure, there's no validation. You're paying for it, but I'm getting good sex for a great price. It'd be silly for me, because I am a below average looking man. I call myself ugly. I'm not going to lie about that. I am physically ugly. But I'm not going to go to a night, waste my time, waste God knows how much money on alcohol, taxi fares, trying to pick up women who are going to reject me anyway. On a cost-to-benefit analysis, it's actually cheaper for a man just to pay a hooker than to go to a nightclub and waste God knows how much money on alcohol and thing. But anyway, I was never into nightclubs anyway. I'm more of a rock and roll. I'm more into rock. So, but I simply don't have the looks to go to waste my time trying to pick up girls in bars. So I just went the hooker route.
Okay, you said something that was extremely important. The prostitution or sex work being legal is like it would be very beneficial for the United States. That's something that I think should be legal. I think sex work should be legal. I think there should be like a position available for beautiful women that want to be sex therapists that could heal sexually ugly men. And there are girls that would be down to do that because girls can be kind of weird. But they're getting money. So I think that would be a really interesting thing to try out, but we're not there yet. And let me tell you why. We have a common enemy, and I believe that we're all going to agree on that, and that is feminism. Feminism has destroyed has basically destroyed femininity and have turned dating has made the dating like scene very skewed and kind of awkward and weird, and it's done a lot of damage to women, and they think that they deserve things that they don't, but they get it because thirsty white knights will just prop them up like princesses. So there's a lot of things going on fucking up the system. I would say feminism is the biggest cause, and then the next biggest cause is the fact that prostitution and sex work is not legal. So that's kind of holding a lot of men back. And I think we're probably on the same page on this subject. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah, no, agree.
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
Totally
I've got a whole bunch of things to say about feminism and in how it affects the dating scene for men, but I don't want to address that just yet. I hope you can stay on the line, Angel, for a while. I want to bring up another point. Here is a comment I got from, I think it was What Attracts Women 1, from Franger. He said, priorities for men is looks first, is she nice second. So I'm guessing he said he's what he's trying to say is men put the looks of a woman on a pedestal, and then is she a nice person, I guess that is second. He says, for women, it's the opposite. So I won't read the rest of that. I don't think there's anything much more should be gleaned from that. But where we have this, there is this women are wonderful fallacy that we have where we don't want to believe that women are primitive like us men, that are they're drawn by looks, because we start off I guess Master Yoda being called.
So I'm here.
Okay, we start off life, I say as boys, we start off life thinking that women want to be given flowers and they want to be treated like they want to be pedestalized. We start off with this notion that women are perfect, and then the layers unravel and we learn that, okay, actually they like they don't want to be smothered in attention. Actually they like bad boys. Actually they like money. Actually they want a guy who has a nice car. So we learn these horrible or unfavorable things about women. We start from this picture of women as being holy and perfect and wonderful, and then the layers unravel. We learn that they don't want flowers and to be smothered in attention, and they like bad boys and they like money and status. I would see the understanding that women like looks or are attracted by looks as a continuation of that understanding, that unraveling of the mystery behind women. It seems as if you're stuck at an earlier stage where you recognize that women aren't as wonderful as you first thought. They're not attracted by a man who gives them flowers and buys them chocolates and sucks up to them. You recognize that those things that we were first taught when we were boys are erroneous, but you haven't come full circle to realize that actually there's more to it than that. There's also the fact that they're as primitive as us.
Okay, well, let me speak to that. Yes, women are as primitive as us, but I think men and women are biologically different and have different biological needs. So let's pretend I'm a woman. When I fuck someone, like I could either get pregnant, and when a girl gets pregnant, like she basically has to give up like 9 months of her life. So like having sex is a little bit more risky.
Yeah, it's a bigger investment.
Women aren't as strong as men too. So like a girl could get beat up by a man and just basically, like if I were to get in a fight with a girl, I probably could kill her. Like I would never do that because I love women. But like that's just reality. Men are stronger than women. And so women, like, yeah, I would like to have like a hot body, but I honestly would rather not die. And the woman is going to want to date someone that looks like, they can protect her. And that's usually behavioral traits because, well, the smart women, dumb girls might just go for hot guys, but the more intelligent women that don't want to die will look for behavioral traits. And this is another reason why pre-selection I think is very attractive. And let me explain pre-selection. If a guy, like an average or like below looking average guy, is surrounded by beautiful Instagram models, he will be hotter to other women because basically those girls are doing the pre-selection for her. So she thinks in her mind like, oh, wow, this guy's around all these girls. He's not creepy. That means I could be with him. And she will go for you.
Master Yoda, I could hear you sighing yourself out of your chair.
Yeah,
So
he's not happy by what I'm saying. He's not happy at all.
go ahead, Master Yoda.
Yeah, well, the thing is, ugly guys are already going to be surrounded by Instagram models unless he's famous. I know what Angel's saying. He's saying that women are attracted to men who other women find attractive. Yeah, look, that's true. But an ugly or below average guy is not going to be surrounded by Instagram models. No, it's just unless he's famous, or unless they're gold diggers.
Unless he's famous. How do you get famous though?
Well, because you're good at something. I don't know, you're a good singer, or you're a CEO of a big company. But then, if you're using money to attract women, well, you're just attracting gold. You're just putting a target on your back for gold diggers, and those women don't really love you for you. They're just after your money.
Well, that's why, like,
you don't want to be in a relationship like that.
I understand that, but there's a lot of nuance to this. I really think that you got to look at POA in game as kind of like an esoteric, almost spiritual practice. It takes a lot of psychological and mental discipline. You literally are changing your identity to be something that you're not, and sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And if you're not willing to put in the work to change who you are as a person and change your identity and sort of just be moldable by your own will, you're not going to be successful in POA.
Angel.
Yeah, but why should you change yourself to be what a woman wants? You should just be yourself. I mean, obviously be the best version of yourself.
Well, but the thing is, it's like a lot of guys that aren't good with women usually have very toxic ideologies, are like have internalized like weird fear of women or hate women because of their parents or they're abandoned or just weird trauma that, like, I mean, the list goes on of like psychological like mental illness that some people could have.
I definitely don't hate women. I mean, I'm a little bit bitter and disappointed I've had no luck with them, but I definitely don't hate them. I mean, I hate certain aspects of
I'm not saying you do, but like someone like, let's take an example, Elliot Rogers, who was not that bad.
Whoa. Before we take Elliot Rogers as an example, the guy was Aspie as hell. The guy was a full-blown Asperger. So he's woman hating is not.
I know that's the point.
Is not
that's
indicative.
The point I was going to make.
Okay, go ahead.
But look, he's not that unattractive. Like if you just look at him physically,
he mugs me to oblivion. Or people who don't understand the terminology,
his behavior,
he's better looking than me. But his behavior is so he had Asperger's,
gross.
so you can't really look at him as an example of anything apart from an example of a guy who had not looks, but money and status. He drove a BMW or something. His dad was a Hollywood. His dad was a Hollywood director, but his Asperger's was so full blown that he is only an example of himself. You cannot extrapolate him to anybody else, really.
I would say that as an example of himself, you have a guy that was pretty good looking, but because he was so aspy and just not socially on it, he couldn't get a date. So what does that tell? That tells us something. That tells us, like, if you're a hot guy, but your behavior is just out of control, you're not going to get dates.
Yeah, but then we're looking at extremes now, because we're looking at a guy with full-blown Asperger's who, the average guy who can't get women isn't a fucked up Aspie. He has a normal personality. He's just not attractive to women. I want to kind of segue into the dating profiles we have on screen right now.
Sure.
These are from a Reddit sub. I think it's called Where Are All the Good Men? All right, I'll read this out. The username's blanked out, but this is this woman's profile. Decent arm candy. Don't underestimate me. Break my heart and I'll date your best friend, move in with him, and while you're over visiting, I'll walk around in my underwear, making you wish you could have me. By the way, I'm a mom. Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. Pre-warning, if you're ugly, I'll block you. If you send me dick pics, I'll block you. And we'll look at the Abby one now, if I can get that on the screen. Yeah. Abby says, not looking for hookups, unless, of course, you're hot. So my whole thing about, if you've watched any video on my channel, you'll know that I say that women aren't honest because they fear, or women are honest when they don't fear judgment or repercussions. And I guess on their own profiles, their dating profiles, they don't fear repercussions. What are you going to do? What, arrest them for being honest? So my point I wanted to make is that even if confidence and game were big attractive switches for women, women get approached by so many men that they can afford to pass up the ugly guy with confidence and wait for the Chad who has confidence. So even if confidence and game were a big factor, if you're not good looking, there's always a good looking guy with confidence and game who's there ready to approach a girl that you're talking to at the same time. So you can't compete. You get what I'm saying?
Well, okay.
Try and be on the confidence.
Angel, go ahead.
Sorry.
Women have a lot more options than even the hottest guys. Like a girl, let's take a guy that's like a 9 or a 10, probably will not have as many options as women that a girl that's like a 6 will have with guys. I've seen
that's
like
the only thing I've agreed with you so far. Go ahead.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Well, it's cool that we have some common ground. I've seen I've had this girl that she was a friend of mine. I would say like I didn't think she was that hot. She was probably like a 5 or a 4. However, like she would just have to wear a certain shirt so her boobs would be showing, and the messages that she got were I was just like way more messages than even like the hot guy friends I know. So like the thing is women just have more options. But it's so much more options.
So address my point. If you think being confident and having a great personality matters, even if that does matter, there's always a Chad who's better looking than you, who has a good personality and game as well as the face. So you're gonna lose anyway. You get what I'm saying? Even if you have this game and personality, that's your only crutch. Chad has game, personality, and looks. So where do you stand?
Not all Chads have game. They have natural game.
Do they need game? They don't need it.
And there's the fact that they don't need game. They don't rely on game as much as the average or below average looking guys. So go ahead, Angel. Sorry.
So the thing. Okay. Yes, a Chad is gonna have more options than a non-Chad when it comes to females. Because I haven't tested this out, but I'm sure if I made a Tinder profile and it was just like some hot guy with a nice jawline, he would probably get way more messages than I would get. Like I don't really get messages on Tinder like at all usually, and like it doesn't really work. Like online dating is kind of a trap. And the thing is that a lot of younger guys nowadays dating through online, the only thing you kind of really have going for you is your looks. So you're not really going to see the results of game unless you kind of do it the classic way offline, because that's where you can actually show your personality. And the thing is, women are different. They don't care about logic and shit like that. They are their intelligence lies in more emotional communication. So that's why they'll say things really weirdly to each other and have like, oh my God, because they're looking at the emotional communication. And once you master that and you can speak their language, which is really hard, kind of how like it's really hard for girls to think logically, you can communicate your value to them. And that's what they really want, value. And the reason why they like attractive men is because they see the value in them, like physically. Oh, it's their genetics. They have value. But that's all they really can get. But if you can break through that emotional communication and show more value than a genetic hottie, you're probably going to have much better results than if you didn't do that.
Isn't value determined by the market? So if something has, if I'm going through a move at the moment, a house move, I could value my house at £1 million or dollars, but it depends. If the market says this house is worth $400,000, then it doesn't matter what value I place on it. So let's apply that to the 5'6" unattractive guy. It doesn't matter how much value he thinks he has. It's all dependent upon how much value women place upon him. So this value thing, it's good. Yes, of course, it's good to have high self-esteem. But if women don't consider you good looking, how much value you place in yourself doesn't come into the question. It doesn't come into it. Master Yoda, I think he wanted to make a point, right?
Yeah, you talked about confidence and how, especially how ugly men or below average men are given this terrible advice. I'll just be confident. Let me tell you, when women say they want a confident, when they're attracted to confidence, what they're really saying is, we want a tall, good-looking man to approach us, to have the confidence to approach us after we've given him the green light to do so.
Yep.
You have to understand what the word confidence actually means and apply it to dating and relationships. Confidence is a self-assured feeling that one will achieve a positive outcome based on previous success. Now, look at the three critical words that define confidence. Self-assured feeling. You can only be as confident with a woman as she allows you to be. So that means that if you're interacting with a woman that you're interested in, and she's giving you negative or combative body language, like, she's giving you the silent treatment, dirty looks, she's only giving you one-word answers, she's making no attempt to engage with you, right? Well, obviously, your confidence or that self-assured feeling is going to plummet because you're being rejected. On the other hand, if she's giving you warm, inviting body language, like she's moving in your personal space, she's constantly touching you, she's smiling at you, she's engaging in conversation, even though you might be talking about those boring things, well, then that self-assured feeling is going to go up because there's a good chance you're going to get laid, right? So telling an ugly guy to be confident is like pouring syrup on shit and calling it pancakes. It's still shit.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
I love it.
Having good game and being confident and having a good personality are not quite the same, because there's a lot more into it than just being confident. Because what does that really mean? That doesn't really mean anything besides being confident. What women like is they like behavioral traits that show value, and it's hard to explain what that is to a woman, because they don't really know what they want. So asking a girl what do you want, she'll say something probably just because she wants to look good, but I don't even think women really understand what they're attracted to, because
I'll agree with that.
They're not okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, we agree with that. They don't really know what they want, so they may just say oh, I want a confident guy, because they don't want to come off as a slut or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
But also factor in that when they say I want a confident guy, they're not thinking of what's his name, Steve Buscemi, or who. They're not thinking of an ugly guy with confidence. When they say I want a confident guy, they're not thinking of an ugly guy with confidence. They're thinking of a good-looking guy with confidence. Or if they're thinking of
yeah, the same thing. When I say girl, I'm not talking about a girl with hairy armpits. I'm talking about a nice, beautiful woman. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's a good idea to go to women for pickup advice.
Of course, yeah, I agree with that.
And the thing is that...
Wait, hold up. I'm gonna have to mute this guy. All right, I was gonna mute him, but he's silent now. So, okay, go ahead, Angel. Sorry.
You know how the mainstream media has news segments where it's they only talk about something for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and there's just buzzwords and things like that. PUA can fall into that trap, and the thing is PUA is a kind of, it's like I said, it's like an esoteric science in a way, and it's really nuanced and complicated, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. So you can't really describe the totality of how PUA and like Venusian arts really work in a simple segment. And I do understand that there's a lot of guys that don't want to pay for these really expensive classes. I understand that, because like you shouldn't have to. But there are plenty of online free resources, and even RSD Tyler says, yo, if you want to torrent my content, you can, like his older stuff. He said that at the free tour one time. And so there's options. There's free options out there. And I think that guys really need to know that they shouldn't give up if they don't want to. Like that's always a choice to sort of give up. And I respect the MGTOW movement, because it has allowed a lot of men to sort of just realize the truth about the gynocentrism that exists in our society. But I also think it's very important to know that, like, if you're not ugly, if you're ugly, you still have a chance. You may not have as a good chance as like a Chad, but that doesn't mean that you're like a piece of shit. You still have options to get women.
Master Yoda, make your final point before I move on to another topic.
Yeah, well, just on with confidence. Look, the bottom line with confidence is the byproduct of success. It's not the cause of it, right?
Thank you. Yes.
It is the byproduct, and a Chad is going to be confident by default because of all the positive validation and reinforcement that women give him. So, because when he's the fact that a woman has shown interest in him, bang, his confidence is going to go through the roof. So he's going to be confident by default. But
I agree with that.
You have to have success before you have confidence.
I would say confidence without reason to be confident, without maybe experience, successful experience, or knowledge, or some factor that helps you, is delusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's true. If your brain wants proof, not promises. I feel you on that. That's why it's good when you're doing PUA is you need to make approaches, and there are some guys that don't even know how to approach. They just freeze up. And so like the realm of success is no longer like, do I get a number and did I actually approach that girl and talk? And you slowly build up steps, like take baby steps, and eventually you get to a point where you're getting numbers. And now those numbers might be fake numbers. They may be flakes, but like that's way better than like what, has been done before. Like I said, I don't know if I said this, but I was a virgin until I was 21. And that was not common for people at my school. And the thing is like, I could not talk around girls. I would wear sweatpants, and I looked bad. Maybe I had like good genetics on my face or something, but I'm not a Chad, all right? By no stretch of the imagination. However, the PUA lifestyle enabled me to have skills to approach women and talk to them. And they may have not been that hot, but eventually they would get hotter and hotter as my confidence built up. And yes, Master Yoda is correct when he said that confidence is a byproduct of success. And so you have to give yourself little successes and break things down into little chunks.
How do you give yourself success?
Well, okay, if you're a virgin and you've never like hooked up with a girl before, then and like girls freak you out, then just being able to talk to a girl and like kind of flirt is a success. You view that as like, oh wow, I've done something. And it may sound silly, but like that's what it takes sometimes is like I said before, your brain needs proof, not promises, because you could tell yourself like, oh, I'm successful. But like, if you're looking at your life and you're just sitting there masturbating to anime women on 4chan, then that's what you are. So
right. Sorry, Master Yoda, because I know Angel is short on time. I want to bring it to this girl we have on the screen now.
Sure.
This girl had surgery on her nose. On the left,
same girl.
Same girl. I'd date her on the left. Like my standards are through the floor, and I think the girl on the left, her on the left, is attractive. her on the left, she's attractive to me, but her on the right, like she's so attractive that like a night with me, she'd sustain like pelvic fractures. Like her walking days will be over. Like that'll be we'll buy her a nice wheelchair. But the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think people would say to her, "Oh, you should have just been more confident. Why did you have to get this surgery? You should have looked inside yourself, and you should have had some inner confidence. And if you just waited, the right guy would have come along when you least expected it." All these kind of blue-pilled sentiments. I don't think she would have gotten that because she's a woman, and we seem to be more realistic about. Because we're talking about men when we're talking about what attracts women, when we're talking about what attracts what women can attract, we're more realistic because we're in effect we're talking about men. When we're talking about women's dating options, we're talking about men. So we tend to bullshit them less. We tend to stop the niceties, and we're like, okay, you do need to wear some makeup, you do need hair extensions. But I don't think she would have gotten I don't think the reaction she got to having surgery would have been as negative as if had she been a man. I'm gonna show you another surgery outcome. This girl, I think she had double jaw surgery. Now, would you say to this girl, as she looked on the left, she should have just been more confident? She should have just had game. She didn't need to look like on how she does on the right. She go ahead.
Well, okay. For the thing is I think women are very different than men. Confidence can help women, but what men really care about is the attractiveness. For if you're an ugly woman, you're basically fucked. In a way that men aren't.
On Tinder, you're fucked. Literally, go off and you are fucked by average-looking guys at the least. Go ahead.
The girl on the left would probably be like a goddess among like the nerdy virgins. However, on the right, she's way hotter, and I don't think confidence really matters that much when it comes to attracting men as a woman. I feel like women rely way more on looks than men do, and
so I'm going to interrupt you. Sorry. So you think that men are like way more primitive than women are? You have this fallacy that women are wonderful. Go ahead. Sorry.
I wouldn't say that. It's not that. I just think that women and men are biologically different and are looking for different things. Like we all have the animal nature inside of us. Girls like sucking dick and getting fucked, just like guys like their dicks getting sucked. But the thing is, girls want different things. I think guys care way more about looks than girls do. We want
Do you have like a source, or is it something you can quote?
Well, I don't have anything I can quote. I just know that this is an anecdotal. I'm going to tell you something anecdotal, but think about this. Most guys don't care about personality nearly as much as they care about looks. I think the only we should probably separate some of these guys. Let's take hot guys like Chads. They will care more about the looks of a girl. I feel like a guy that's kind of ugly, they would prefer to sleep with a hot girl. But if an ugly girl would offer to suck their dick, they probably would say sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they wouldn't like a hotter girl to sleep with them. I think guys always want hotter girls, but they'll take what they can get.
Yeah.
Here's a question, Angel. Real quick. Why aren't women allowed to care about looks?
Can you repeat the question and turn your mic down a little bit, please?
Yes. Why aren't women allowed to care about looks? And why is it so inconceivable that they can't just care about looks as much as we do? Why is it so hard to understand?
Okay, it's not that it's hard. It's just that I think men have an opportunity to attract women in a way that women don't have an opportunity to attract men, and that is women will respond to game much better than men will respond to game with women. Like if an ugly girl like uses game on a guy, like I don't really think it's gonna help her that much. Whereas a guy that uses game on a girl, if he's not that good looking, it'll help him a lot.
But be that as it may, I made the point earlier. Women don't even need to wait for. Women don't need to rely on the ugly or even mildly average looking guy to approach them with confidence and game, because there are so many men approaching them. They can afford to wait for the above average looking guy. They can afford to wait for the Chad. They can afford to wait for the super giga Chad to approach them with confidence and game. So, like I said, for all the benefit that having game and confidence does for a man, you're still competing with guys way better looking than you that are the full package.
What's the
Angel, can you reply? Wait.
If your girlfriend's gonna cheat.
Wait, JC, because you're breaking up as well.
Go ahead.
You're breaking up, by the way. Let's let Angel respond to that, and then JC, you go next.
I definitely agree with you. Women have more options than men. They just do. And I think we're in kind of a weird environment where we can't see what things would like. I really wish we could see what the dating scene would look like if there was no feminism, because I really think that plays a role into like how women act. And even like the girls that say they're not affected by feminism has like done so much social conditioning, and they're like a part of the media and like all this stuff. Like they're even in Star Wars now. So there's a lot of things being done to the female psychology that I don't know if we even have considered. We just know that like feminism is bad, but it's a lot worse than I think you guys realize.
JC, can you make a quick point? Because I want to move on. Okay, that was very quick. I'm going to move on. So
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you? Yeah.
Guys, real quick.
No, go
so
ahead.
I want to make this point. So hypergamy is predicated on the fact that women always want better. So if game is important, and think about a guy that does get a girl with game, what's really the point if she's just going to cheat on you with the next available good-looking guy?
That's right.
So the wow, that's Delvet or Delvest. That's Davist pronounced. That was a super chat donation. Thanks for that. Angel, do you want to reply?
So yeah, the girl that's gonna cheat, probably. I'm curious, like what type of girl she was. Like, were there red flags? Was she
had a vagina. That was it. Right? She had a vagina.
Well,
she had eyes. She had eyes and a vagina. She could see a guy was good looking.
But are all women not hypergamous?
I feel like probably most 99.9% of women are probably hypergamous.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna move on because I want to keep this going, and I know Angel, you have somewhere to go soon. So this guy had surgery. I think he had lower jaw surgery. I think it's just lower jaw. You can see him above. He looks like some sort of slug, and you can see him at the bottom. He looks he's not good looking at the bottom, but he's it's a vast improvement. So would you say to the guy above, before the surgery, would you have said to the guy, actually, don't get surgery. I know you have surgery planned. Don't get surgery. Just be more confident. Just have more game. Or would you, looking at the results, would you say, actually, this surgery is worth more than reading an extra chapter of the game would have served him?
I have a very nuanced answer to that, and that is, I would ask him, like, do you want surgery? And if he said, yes, I really want to do this. This is going to make me feel good. I would say, go for it. Because I I think that if you want to do that, you should do that. The same thing of like if a girl wants to get tit implants, and she really wants to do that, then she should be allowed to do that. I think small boobs are fine, but some girls want the big tits. Although that could be like a different conversation because it has to do with a woman's value. But let me get back to the point. I think the guy looks better with the jaw surgery, and if he feels better, then that's good. Because the bottom line is I'm trying to empower men. I feel like that's the whole point of why we do this, is like giving a space for men to sort of like be empowered, because the sort of gynocentrism and feminism has really attacked men and fucked up a lot of young boys and turned them into not men and just castrated them metaphorically. So if this guy wants to look good and get jaw surgery, I'm not going to tell him not to do that. However, if he wasn't going to get jaw surgery and that was just what he looked like, I would tell him like, look, bro, you should consider game. If you want to get laid, that is a good option for you.
So you think game would have given him the same success as he stood in the before as surgery would have given him? You think that the two would have been resulted in the same level of improvement in his
It really depends on like where he's at. Look, judging by his face, like he may have, because he's unattractive, probably received lots of negative social conditioning and not reached his full potential of what he's capable of. So that could have held him back, and that's like an internal game. So
there you go, blaming him. So you're saying that I get it. It is a negative feedback loop where he's unattractive, or he was unattractive, so he got the reactions from women that an unattractive guy would get, which made him less confident in that guy. I get that thinking, but it seems like you can't quite allow yourself to recognize that the plain cold hard facts. Him unattractive would elicit a certain level of response from women, rejection. Him with an actual chin and jaw would elicit more favorable reactions. Can you at least admit that?
Yes, he would have to work harder, because he's going up against
but you're going for this. You're resorting to this thinking that he would have to try harder, as if him trying harder would have guaranteed success. Him trying harder would mean...
I don't think it would have guaranteed success. I think looking at him and saying, "Oh, you're ugly, you're fucked, and your life is over, you're hopeless," I don't think that is true. I think that he still has options. If he wants to take the PUA pill, he could do that. Obviously, he's going to be much more confident and have better success after his surgery, because he looks better. But that doesn't negate the fact that PUA is extremely powerful and enables men that aren't attractive to pull girls that they've never been able to pull in their entire life.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a quick point? Because I'm going to move on.
Quickly, just going back to you about who's more shallow. There's the PUA like us to believe that it's men who are more concerned with looks. That's rubbish. If you actually observe how women behave, it's actually women who are more shallow. Look at the wide range of women that men find attractive. Some men like curvy, big girls, or BBW girls, or chubby girls. Some men prefer more athletic women. But there are no women who prefer fat men. Right? Absolutely
very few. All right, I'm going to move on.
And
go ahead. Go ahead. All right, I'm going to move on. So I want because I know Angel. Angel, can you hang on for like, I don't know, 20 more minutes or so?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to a comment from Hugh Latravia. I forget which stream this was on, but he made a comment. I think it was either on what's his name? I've forgotten his name. It was a comment on Steve Hawker's Hoka's stream or Held by the Dashboard Light, Johnny Kaloon's stream. He said, I quote, I apologize for not having the actual screenshot of his quote, but Hugh LaTraviata said, if looks were all that mattered, we could all just go to the gym, become good looking, and get laid. Now, my response to that is so amazingly wrong. You can go to the gym and become better looking, but there's no guarantee that you can go to the gym and become good looking. Your upper limit is your face. So if you're a 3 out of 10 in looks, and you go to the gym, you may be able to reach 4 or week 5, but you're not going to become good looking just through going to the gym. You're limited by your face. It amazes me how we overlook face. This guy on the screen that you can see right now, for all the 6-pack, 8-pack he has, he's still limited by his face. Put a shirt on him, and it's cancelled out. So, can you start to see that face is so important? Like it's amazing how we're in this current year, and men still don't understand the importance of face. We at the most will look at body in terms of physical attractiveness, and we think, okay, maybe women are attracted to physical attractiveness, or it's a bonus, or it does help, or it plays a part. But I'll just go to the gym and then I'll become good looking. Why are we? I guess I'll ask this question to Yoda. Why are we still not understanding, on the whole, men in general, that face is? You look at the face the most when you're communicating with a person. Why do we still underestimate the importance of face for men?
Absolutely. No, attraction is mostly from the neck up. Obviously, look, it's beneficial to have a good body as well. And I can understand, I know what you're alluding to is looks, Maxine. Look, if you're an ugly guy and you attain a really great physique by going to the gym and eating a healthy diet, look, it may knock your points up a few points, but it's no guarantee that you're going to be successful with the ladies. And look, I think men should exercise regularly, and have a healthy diet just for their health, but don't do it solely for the purpose of attracting women. But yes, no, you're right. Attraction is mostly from the neck up. It's the first thing is your face, then your body. So I know the face is a big thing. And looks maxing is good, but it's no guarantee you're going to. But yeah, you're right. The face is very important, extremely important.
Any points or any considerations, Angel, before I move on?
I think I'm going to agree, because when it comes to just attractiveness, I definitely feel and have noticed that women, they care more about the face than the body, and like that's how they judge attractiveness. It's like, how does your face look? Because I've seen girls say this guy is hotter and he doesn't have the greatest body, but he has got a really nice face, versus like a guy like this guy, they probably would think is gross looking. And it's like muscles. It's like, I feel like having a nice body matters much more to women if the face is good. But like, if you have a nice body and you don't have a good face, they may not even think you're hot. They'll just be like, oh, he's just a beefcake.
I think we got him.
Before
I think we got him.
I just really want to add to that
go ahead.
Quick. Really quick. Because I've been overweight before. I do want to add to this. And any of you guys who've seen pickup forums can probably attest to this. There's actually a community of guys who have looks maxed themselves in the body department that are frustrated that, hey, I've got a 6-pack, why can't I get a girl? And you look at those guys, and they're as good looking as they can be, but they're not necessarily good looking. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Total sense.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that.
All right, I'm going to move on. Next point. Right, this is a screenshot from What Attracts Women 1.3. And the comment I had, let me get it. Apologies. The comment I had was... Right. The comment I had was from Ashes of Existence. He said, a photo showing half a guy's face got all that attention. That checkout kid doesn't even look that great. I said, or let me show you what I said. I said, beg to differ. There is a pic of him within the first 5 minutes of War 2. A face like that is a whole new plane of existence. Remember, it doesn't matter if you think he's good looking. It matters that women do, and they do. So my point here is that you know when you hear these anecdotes of blue pillars who say, "Oh, I know an ugly guy who gets women. I know an ugly guy who's successful, so looks don't matter." My retort to that is, okay, sometimes they're correct. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes there are ugly guys who have an attractive woman, and it's an anomaly. It's not something you should perceive as the norm, whatever. But sometimes you will have sometimes you will consider a guy ugly who's not actually ugly. Let me give you an example. Now, this may grossly offend some people, and it shows an arrogant side of me, and I apologize, but it was the thinking I had at the time. My grandparents are from the Caribbean, okay? So people from the Caribbean or African Americans will have, I don't know, 10 to 15% white admixture. Maybe not, maybe yes, yeah? So if we take the premise that white men are the most attractive, they have the most value, they have the most prestige, they're the best looking. If you know, Asian women love white men. So yeah, can you all agree that white men are at least seen as perceived as attractive throughout the world? Yeah, okay. So I thought, in my mistaken thinking, I thought, okay, my grandparents are from the Caribbean. I must have some white admixture. I'm more attractive than, and I don't want to offend anyone, so let me just pick a random African country, Mozambique. I must be more attractive than someone from Mozambique who's 100% sub-Saharan African, because I have more white DNA. I'll give the example of, I had an Indian friend who told me that he can recognize a Pakistani because they have more kind of beak-shaped bent noses, and they're maybe darker. But the point I'm trying to make is that you may think that your admixture or something about you makes you more attractive than someone who you perceive as more primitive looking, but you may not be looking at the actual traits of a man in as how a woman would see those traits. So in the looks red pill community, I would say that we really do have a firm understanding of what makes men attractive. We understand the forward growth of the maxilla, mandible, chin. We understand eye areas where we look at upper eyelid exposure and the vertical narrowness and hoodedness of an eye. We really do have, we look at Norwood balding. We really do have male attractiveness kind of down to a fine T. So when you have a guy who says, who thinks that he's seeing an ugly guy with a hot woman, he may actually be seeing a guy who's actually good looking, or maybe not good looking, but he may actually have a few good traits. So let me give you an example. If you see a bald guy with a woman, you may think, oh, a bald guy has a woman. Maybe women aren't attracted by looks. But you're ignoring the fact that that bald guy may be making up for that with like a strong jawline. He may have a forward grown maxilla. He may have high cheekbones. So it's, you can't, it's very hard to take seriously when men say, oh, I've seen ugly guys with hot women, because those ugly guys, those guys that they perceive as ugly may have a few good traits. And that was a huge red pill for me, because I was arrogant. I thought, being of a Caribbean origin, I thought, oh, I'm less primitive, or perceived as less primitive than a pure sub-Saharan Mozambique guy. But there are guys from Mozambique with chins more forwardly projected than mine. There are guys from Mozambique with more compact mid-faces than mine, that are more masculine, have more hooded eyes. So you cannot look at, it's very hard to, I really take with a pinch of salt when someone says that they've seen ugly men with hot women, because there is usually some trait that if they do present those ugly guys to me, then after they said that comment, there is usually some trait that those men, those quote unquote ugly men have, that makes them somewhat masculine or somewhat appealing in some way. That's just a point I wanted to get off my chest. Master Yoda, do you want to comment on that, or can I move on?
Yeah, no, you made a good point there. When people say, "Oh, I see this ugly guy with hot girls or hot women," there's a number of ways you can take. You can take with a grain of salt. Either they're lying, or something you've alluded to. Maybe that guy wasn't as ugly as what they say they were. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine he's incel like myself. He saw this hooker once, and this hooker said, "Oh, my ex-boyfriend wasn't good looking," and then she showed my friend a photo of her ex-boyfriend, and he actually was good looking. Yeah. See what I mean? So I think it just confirms your point that when people claim that they know that they saw an ugly guy with a hot look or a very attractive woman, they're either lying about it or they're over exaggerating how actually ugly he was. So I agree with your point there, totally.
Do you want to make a point on that, Angel?
Yes. I have to say that's something I have not considered, and I think that's a really good point. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. I will. You will have to excuse me while I get this next thing ready. It's a clip that I want us to look at. If I get it here.
Will the chat be able to see it?
The chat will be able to see it. So, I want to talk a little bit about female entitlement. We're starting to touch on the feminism thing that you alluded to, but we're going to deal with that in a sec. Women feel so entitled to a guy who meets so many of their bucket list requirements. If you look at dating profiles for men, their dating profiles describe who they are, what they do, what they're into, what their interests are. When you look at a woman's dating profile, it's very much a bucket list of who you need to be in order to contact her, who you need to be. I don't want these. If you're 5'7", don't contact me. If you're balding, I don't want to know you. So women are very entitled. They think they are owed the top tier men. I just want to give you I just want to show you this clip. I hope I could get it. Let me get that one off and get. Right, I think that's it. Let me get this one on.
Hello. Are you alright? How are you? Well, thanks to you. Can I offer you a
Wait,
drink?
I don't think you can hear that.
Could I get a Coke, please?
I can.
Yeah, of course. If you don't mind me asking. No, I don't mind asking it. Did I notice you got a little...
Wait, I'm looking at the that, and it's not moving, so that's worrying.
Press play on on the OBS.
Or I can see the window. Just press play. Yep, I can see it.
You can see, but
does the chat see it?
The chat can't see it.
It seems
it's frozen for something. It's frozen for some reason.
Did I notice?
Sorry.
I might have to not play this if that's the case.
I can see it though.
You can see it, I know, because I'm sharing my screen with you. So that's a shame if you can't.
They can hear it. They can hear it though.
They can hear it.
Are you not selecting the right thing? You might be selecting just an image.
All right, there. I think that's. There you go. I think that's it now. Let me make that smaller.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I think that's it now. Right. Let me talk to you a little bit about female entitlement. Chat, can you hear that? We can hear it. Cool, okay. Here we go. This is from a show called First Dates. Let me preface this. There are a lot of shows coming out of the UK now. I think there is... what's it called? What's a dating show with the 30 panel of women? Take Me Out. Take Me Out.
Oh yeah, okay.
Take Me Out.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've got Take Me Out. I think there's an American version. I don't think it lasted too long. We've got
there was a Dutch version too, I think.
Yeah, the Dutch version. There is this show which is called First Dates. There's an American version starting soon. There is Dinner Dates. What you will notice with these shows is that most of the time it's the women rejecting the men. All right, so I'll leave it like that. Most of the time when it's they're demonstrating or showing a date or a potential date, it's usually the women who reject the guys because the guys just don't live up to women's standards. It's ridiculous that today's men just don't live up to women's standards. All right, let me play this show.
Hello.
You alright?
How are you?
Well, thanks to you.
Can I offer you a drink or anything?
Yeah. Could I get a Coke, please?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
You might not understand her accent. She's from Liverpool, which is like okay. She said
Scouser.
yeah.
If you don't mind me asking,
I was asking it.
did I notice you got a little bump?
Yeah, 6 months pregnant.
Hold the front page. She's going on a date with a man, and she's 6 months pregnant.
Oh
Red flag.
God. Wow. So
Single mum.
what's the situation?
So, it's a donor baby.
Very well. Good. What's your name? Steve.
All right. I won't play that. Yeah. Okay. This is the guy that she's going on a date with. I'll summarize it. She had a relationship with a woman. Didn't work out. She got pregnant. She got pregnant via in vitro, whatever. And I'll play the rest of this.
Steve, nice to meet you. Good handshake. Come with me.
The army is your family, and the camaraderie you get is second to none. I'd like that in a future partner. Someone that'll have my back and I'll have their back. Hi there.
How do you do?
Steve.
Lynn.
Lovely to meet you.
Right. I think you've seen enough. Today's women, their entitlement is so high that they can go on a date while pregnant. Like, that wouldn't have happened like 50 years ago. A woman who was pregnant 50 years ago, she'd hide herself away for 9 months. Then that baby would be either raised as her sister or would be farmed out as given to a aunt to raise. But today's women are so entitled. Do you not think that a man being good looking is just one more entitlement that women feel that they need to have? I mean, they feel entitled to so much else. Wouldn't looks be like just another box to check, Angel?
Yes, it would. However, I want to say, I've said this a lot. I really think feminism has exacerbated the hypergamy that women have. It's like, as I forget who said this, but I think it might have been in the last stream. It's basically put their hypergamy on steroids.
Yeah.
Feminism, and I think it's great that we can have at least common grounds on this, has destroyed dating for men. And I hear it's even worse in Europe, where like everyone's a feminist there. I know it's really bad in California and especially Berkeley, where I used to live for a while. And it's because it's so institutionalized and it's like affecting the government. Because typically feminists are left-leaning, and I don't really get into politics that much, but that's just something we see. Left-leaning people tend to be feminists, and that tends to be more involved with the government. So it creates this incentive where women are sort of addicted to the state and kind of feel like they're owed so many things. Like they feel like, oh wow, I can just go on a date. With this guy that you just showed me, he's not bad looking. He is. What's the good word? He's like cucked, or he's white knighting. There's something's wrong with him. He's been poisoned. Men get poisoned by feminism too. It's not just women. Feminism is not just bad for women. It's bad for men because, well, it's bad for everyone. So he is really enabling the woman. I mean, it's both kind of sad, but do you see what I'm saying? Is like, I really think feminism should be examined.
Next, who wants to make a point? Was that JC?
Yeah, I was just agreeing with Angel that he's basically making her feel validated in the fact that, hey, I'm pregnant. I can go out on this date, and he's still going to sit there with me.
Right. I'll move on because I know Angel's short.
People like that are, I would argue, are maybe even worse than feminists. Because like he what's his excuse? Like, he's a man. He should be out there, like, man, he's just enabling bad behavior.
I get that.
As a man, he shouldn't do that. He should correct bad behavior and reward good behavior.
Yoda, do you want to make a quick point?
Yeah, just quickly. I mean, the entitlement thing here is that this woman thinks that this, that she believes that this man is meant to going to support her baby. Well, it's not her. Firstly, it's not his kid. But because, like, as you've alluded to, feminism has given women this huge sense of entitlement that they think that men owe them a living.
I want to play this next part. I said this earlier, or about 2 minutes ago. When you see these dating shows or shows that have dating as an aspect to them, it's usually the woman who rejects the man. It's usually the woman who feels that the man isn't up to her standards. So let me play this one. I think I could drag this into here.
Oh, very good. Up north. I've been single for about 8 or 9 years. I think I have been maybe keeping myself busy to distract myself from getting out there finding somebody. I would like to meet.
Now look at this horse-faced hag. You would say,
if you saw my mouth drop, I was like, oh my god, that is.
She is like MGTOW talk about hitting the wall. This woman is smashed so far through the wall. Okay, but watch this.
Meet somebody that understands what I do. I want someone a little bit similar. Would you like to go on a second date?
Right, I'll be truthful.
She's going to be truthful. We're in trouble here.
I had a wonderful time. I had a great date. Okay. I think you're so charming, and I think you're a gentleman.
Keep going.
I think it's more of a friendship vibe, Nick. Do you?
Oh, God.
See, that's fucking brutal. Boom. That's brutal.
That's ridiculous.
So when women say they want a guy who's charming and has all these personality traits that tick or check their boxes, that's bullshit, because this man did it. This man, what did she say? She said he was wonderful and charming, but what? Too charming? What? Too charming to date? So obviously, let me make this final point. Obviously, him being charming wasn't enough. Obviously, what can we look at that he didn't have that she maybe wanted? Maybe he wasn't young and good looking enough.
Yeah.
Is there any? You want to deny that?
I mean, no, I'm not going to deny that. I think that this woman probably is living in some fantasy world because of the way gynocentric society has sort of programmed women. And that, I feel like we would all agree on that. She's super entitled and spoiled, and probably was like taught by her feminist like teachers, or just like some, I don't know how to say it, but she's living in a really weird fantasy world, and probably thirsty white knight guys have been putting her on a pedestal that she doesn't deserve, because the dating scene is so fucked up. So people are just giving her free passes and basically chasing her off the cliff in a way, because what's going to happen is no one's going to meet her expectations. She's going to be a cat lady. That's a cat lady right there.
Yeah.
But if a woman like that can afford to be picky, then what does that say for the type of women that we would be approaching, who are under 30 maybe, who are in their prime? What does that say? I mean, where do we stand? If she can be picky, what does that say about the women that we would be approaching?
It says that women the truth is women have more options than men. I don't know what else to say it. That's just how it is. Women have more options. Okay, Yoda, do you want to make a quick point?
Totally agree with that. Online dating sites are a perfect example of that. That one thing a lot of people don't realise, they're sausage fests. Men outnumber women on those sites by huge ratios. So that means that women they've got their choice on steroids. So even if the woman's fat and ugly, she's still got more options than an average-looking guy. I'll give you an example. I saw this hooker in December 2011, and okay, she wasn't the best looking. She was older, because I prefer older women. She was a bit chubby, and she told me when she was a member of an online dating site.
Wait. You prefer older women?
Yes, MILFs.
What?
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
Wait a
Yeah. What's so funny about that? A lot of guys do. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Go ahead. I wanted to use my effects. Go ahead.
Yeah. No dramas. But she told me when she was a member of a dating site, over a period of 3 months, she received 3,000 messages. That's 250 messages. That's what? So 3 months is 12 weeks. That's 250 messages a week. And this woman, okay, she wasn't ugly, but she wasn't overly attractive either. So women, as the choosers, they've got their choice on steroids. And as this video you've just shown us, and that guy, no homo, he's not that bad looking. He's actually better looking than what she is. Definitely. So what's she rejecting him for? So so the level of entitlement that the modern woman has is through the roof.
Right.
And that makes it harder for guys, basically, because that's just how it breaks down. Because women have more options, and now they have even more options because
it's easy for them.
Overdrive hypergamy. It really skews and fucks up the dating scene and just makes everything harder. I'm not going to deny that.
But would you agree that his personality, if she found him charming, and a whole bunch of other things that she listed, if she found all those things about him positive, about his personality, but still he wasn't good enough, what more can we assume? It's obviously he's not young enough and good.
Assuming that she's telling the truth and she's not lying, because women usually don't know how to articulate their feelings that well. They'll just say crazy shit to make things like make them seem cool. But let's just give her the benefit of the doubt that she's being truthful. I like I said, I think that she is destined to cat ladyhood, because she's not going to get what she wants. That's like trying to look for a goldfish in your fucking bathtub. You're not going to find it unless you put a goldfish there. Or you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That wasn't the best analogy, but she's living in a fantasy world is what I'm trying to say.
All right, I'm going to move on because I know Angel, are you okay for time?
I have to go at what is considered 6 p.m. Pacific time for me, so I don't know what that time would be for you. So basically, I can stay for like 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, yes.
Okay, all right, I'm going to hurry this along. And now let's go to an example of a man meeting standards.
People have got like disappointment written all over their faces.
Idiots.
I guess they probably just think Yorkshire girls, we've got a bit of a reputation for drinking a lot and going out.
Her accent's a bit hard to understand because she's from Yorkshire, north of England.
I can understand that.
She said people think Yorkshire girls have a bad reputation. She's just basically saying
Out a lot and living in the pub, which...
Elan.
When girls see me, sometimes they might expect a foreign accent. I guess I don't look typically English.
Good afternoon. How are you?
A big American technology company. So, and I sell microchips. So go on, how about you?
I am a food buyer and I look after ready meals. Yeah. A lot of travelling, a lot of eating.
Two of my favourite things, to be fair.
Exactly, so I can't
like you can see there's some chemistry between them.
complain.
Wow.
Happy days.
Yeah. Wow.
Thanks.
Just saying.
Right, look at that look.
Good.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Right, there's chemistry between them. Right, if I go like that, I think I wanted to do this. Sorry. This. Oh, I wanted that to be above. Apologize. Let's move that up. Alright. Move that up. Right. So, would you say that the guy's inset, the guy below, looking to the left, and the guy lying down, would you say that they would have as much a chance or spark or chemistry as the guy that she obviously has an attraction to? Our spoiler, she is attracted to. Would you say that they have an equal chance with her?
No, absolutely not. No
Okay,
way.
Angel?
I would probably say no, but that's just because I'm judging based on looks.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Stop. So what, women don't? Women don't?
Okay. No, okay. Bro, I do think looks matter, but my whole point that I'm trying to say is that PUA is also matters. And it's not just personality and confidence, the whole skill set.
But you're missing the point. Women don't need to wait for a guy to come along who's ugly but has confidence, because they have the chads coming along who have confidence.
Yes, they do.
So you can't win then.
Yeah, well, I mean that's up to you. If you just want to MGTOW your way through and just be like, oh, I'm ugly, so I might as well not even try. That is a choice. It's possible that I am super delusional because maybe I'm actually more attractive than I think I am. All I'm trying to point out is I went from incel to being able to talk to any girl and have threesomes, which I didn't even think was a real possibility. So something is definitely possible. And I really think that if more guys would just try to work on themselves and not give up, you could get results. Maybe you wouldn't get the hottest Instagram model, but it would be better than, playing with your dick. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
go ahead, Yoda.
Well, I definitely know. Well, as I said, I'm lucky. I've access to legalised prostitution. So if I need to have my manly needs met, I just pay for it. But if you're an incel, the chances of you scoring a threesome, there's more chance you win the lottery. It's just not going to happen. No. And look, I agree. If you're an unattractive guy, yes, you should do everything in your power to try and make yourself more attracted to the opposite sex. But what if you've done that and you still make up? I don't know what to tell you then, man. All I'm saying is that I am trying to empower men. If you have a bad face, get a nice haircut, dress well. There's things you can do.
You're saying that. You're suggesting that they haven't done that. There's a suggestion that if you're unattractive with women, it's because you lay in your own feces all day.
Here's the thing. You made a point that I thought was really good, that people in your community study the facial structure, what actually attracts women. I have done the same thing, but on a different front. I have studied behaviors that attract women. So what's up for debate is like, what is more attractive, looks or behavioral traits? That is something I don't know how to answer because I haven't done the exquisite sort of research that you've done on faces and looks. What I have done is I've studied behaviors, and I know that there are certain attractive behaviors that women respond to. And if you're ugly, then you better learn that shit because you're fucked otherwise.
Well,
go ahead,
I understand behaviour plays a part.
Angel, you're here for what, 2 more minutes?
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. But Yoda, you make your last point.
Yeah, behaviour does play a part. I'm not going to deny that. But you need that looks to attract the woman in the first place. Sure. I mean, look, even if you're a really good-looking guy, if your behaviour is that bad, you'll lose that. You know, that woman will lose attraction for you. But the point we're trying to make is you need to have those looks to get that woman in the first place. Yeah.
So basically, your whole stance comes down. This is what I'm understanding. Is you agree with me that behavior matters, but you
definitely.
think
it does absolutely.
Like
it plays a part.
Specifically, the face is what is the supreme indicator.
Because you
for the most part,
you
yes.
think
For the most part, yes.
Angel, if a girl is unattractive to you, she walks in the club, she walks into the room, coffee shop, and you think you don't even know. Oh, no, actually, she's so ugly. You do notice her. You're like, fuck me. This girl she should be like living underground. She should be in the sewers. She's so disgusting. Then she comes up to you and she makes it situational. It's not like she actually approaches you. It's a situational thing where you reach for the same cookie or something, and then you get to talking. Why you would probably not be attracted to her no matter what she does. So why do you think it's so different for women who have more choice than we do?
I think it has to do with the times that we live in, and a lot of it has to do with feminism. I'm really curious to see what dating was like back in the Game of Thrones time, and how things were before all this crazy feminist stuff happened. Now, I'm not for oppressing women and being ruthless to them.
I am. Backhand him. Give him a backhand. No, I'm joking.
But I do think that we have in our institutions and government in a way to sort of combat the unequal rights of women, which I feel like is a whole other conversation that probably is kind of skewed. We're in a point now where it's I don't want to say men are oppressed, but there's a war on boys and masculinity. You know the term toxic masculinity? Yeah. It's there's sort of almost this fear from most guys to be masculine. And it's a really strange place. And I think that's why we're all talking and have these communities, because we all look, I know you may disagree with me on pickup artistry and stuff like that. That's fine. I love having these debates, but we essentially are all on the same side.
Angel, tell me how many minutes you have left.
I kind of got to go right now.
Okay.
That's what I was kind of trying to end with, that because I feel like that's a pretty positive thing to end on, because I really do feel like we're all on the same side.
Okay, yeah, we are ultimately. Angel, I have loved this debate. I think the chat have loved it as well. I think the chat appreciated this much more than the last stream, which was a shit show. I think this format is settling down now. I think we kind of found the formula. Me not drunk and less people. I think that's the way we need to go. Especially having you as a blue-pilled, as we would call it. Especially having you as a counter to our points. No, but it rather than us agreeing with each other, it's good to have a voice of what's the word I'm looking for?
An opposing voice.
Opposing voice, exactly.
Dissenting view.
So dissenting view. So I will wrap this up now, but I would like to thank Angel. Angel, can you come back another time?
I can come back again. Damn, the chat doesn't like me because I'm not agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, but that's fine.
That's fine.
You're not
I'm
here
a
to
rebel.
you're not here to win
I'm
votes.
a maverick.
Yeah, you're not here to win votes.
I'm not here to be liked.
You're here to.
I'm here to trigger people.
Exactly. Maybe you might convince somebody. Who knows? But yeah,
I don't like it when guys feel hopeless. I think all men deserve beautiful women if they are nice men, which is why I think prostitution should be legal here. So awesome that prostitution is available to some guys.
Okay.
We could probably all agree on that too. So I'm gonna bounce out here. If you maybe you can get another guest in, but thank you. And I will talk to you later.
Angel,
Thanks, guys.
Angel, I appreciate it. Talk to you again soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
All right. Angel's gone. I'd like to say thank you to Yoda and JC. JC, have you been modding the chat?
I actually just got back home. I was actually in my car driving home in the beginning, so I couldn't even see the chat. So otherwise, you wouldn't have had to answer anything. So I apologize about that.
You're fired. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Yeah, I know. It's partly my fault. I don't give like a definite start time because I was like all day I've been trying to get this thing ready. You don't realize how much effort this takes. I've changing from that to that, like that takes time. Like you need to like organize and prioritize and like have a schedule going and like the topics, the structure to this chat. I've been doing this stuff at work. I've been like organizing stuff at work, like making notes, taking screenshots at work. There are so many things that we didn't get through, but because I've got like about an hour more worth of footage and talking points to get through. So maybe we can get Angel on another time because I want to. I haven't even home runned him yet. I'll get to the point. I'll get to that point soon. But yeah, this chat. I think chat. How much better than the last time was this chat? Like
this was a billion times better.
No,
more
people.
professional.
The last chat. I've had people say the last chat. People in the chat were saying, Face and LMS, just nuke the chat. Just put us out of our misery. Like just nuke it. I'd rather be bored. I'd rather be bored than see this chat. Like I don't want to see you die. I like you. I don't want to see you die. So they were like, yeah, just nuke it. But I think
no criticism of you. I just think just the behaviour of the guest you had last week is what let it down. Not yourself. I think obviously you didn't envisage that was going to happen. Look, it's at the end of the day, you just made an honest mistake. But I think the format like today was much better, more professional.
Cool. All right. Any last comments before we are out of here?
I just want to say one thing. All the things I said about myself, I wasn't trying to solicit anyone's sympathy. And look, I agree that men should always be the best versions of themselves they can be. But if they're not having any luck with the ladies, don't blame yourselves. And don't. That's one thing. It's very toxic about PUA and a lot of this self-help stuff. It blames the user rather than the actual material. So I think men who are struggling with the ladies just focus on the things in your life you can control and just try and live your life the best you can.
JC?
So,
JC? JC? Hello? Okay, never mind. All right, so that is the stream. JC, you there? Okay. Well, thanks for that comment, JC. That was really, you really summarized your views there. That was, really succinct. I think we'll be back next... He's dead. We'll be back... Here he is. No? Right. We'll be back next week. I think it's always a I always caveat that with maybe, because who knows? It's a live stream and I never know what I'm going to be doing. I could be moving house. I could be get an invite from a friend to go out. Who knows? But thanks, chat. I really appreciated you being there and your feedback. Yeah, it's time to end this. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk again. We'll see each other again soon. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.